Welcome to White-Haired Gardener. As the title says, how does my garden grow? Well, let's see. Start on the side where it all began. Come with me. Come. Bed 1 has a nice pole bean called rattlesnake pole bean. See the little speckles on here? This is a very nice pole bean. It stays sweet, and actually I use this every year. It's a good producer. It's kind of gotten away from me, as you can see. See the video on the bean beetle. It should be a couple on down. Now, over here, I've got some new starts of the same bean. They still have plenty of time to produce, and I'll probably take these down, put something else in it, maybe more rattlesnake pole beans. As you can see here, my carrot is just about to go totally to seed. I also have a video on saving seeds. You can see a little brown spot here. They're starting to dry out. Yay. Over here, look at this. These are Japanese yard-long beans. Wow, I think this one actually might be a yard-long. These are really great for stir fries. They don't cook up as well as regular beans do with water and stuff like this, but if you can get a little sesame oil, butter, onion, these saute wonderfully. Over here, and there we go, I've got a couple of eggplants that I'm trying to nurse along. Hopefully they will produce. Down here are my bush beans. This is a jade bush bean, and it's okay. Makes a lot of beans and everything like this. I can't complain on that, but the flavor is not quite as good as a bean that I've had previously, which was a Royal Burgundy. Those are sweet, tender, and I think I'm going to go with those next year. This side is an Italian squash that has one really nice one. This is the first time it's produced, and I'm really looking forward. It makes kind of a gnarly, bumpy squash when it gets to size. So I can't wait to taste him and find out how he compares to all the other squash. Here is my tomato aisle. Right here, the first one in place of prominence is my beloved Cherokee Purple. These, now, don't do as I do, do as I say. I have actually way too many tomatoes for this small of a space. And I have trimmed some, but I couldn't bear to take any more away. So these guys are rather overly full, and I'll be watching it carefully so it doesn't snap the branch or stress the plant out. Right here, as you can see, it's starting to change color, which means it's ripening. It seems to be ripening quite nicely. This will make a purple tomato. It's an heirloom tomato, and the flavor of these is wonderful. This guy and this guy are my husband's favorite, the Missouri Love Apple. He's got a big cluster of tomatoes here, and I'll probably be able to trim these a little bit more wisely just because they are great, but they're not my favorites. Here and here, Paul Robeson makes a nice medium-sized tomato, rather of a purple style variety as well. Here and here. He's got some small ones. Oh, and you can see this little split here. That's because we've had a ton of rain, and this guy split, but it looks like he's healed himself, so I'm going to leave him on there. It doesn't look like he's got any kind of problem with that. And now this bad boy, Barry's Crazy Cherry, makes a little small yellow tomato, small cherry tomato in huge clusters, and judging by these blooms, yeah, I'm going to have more than I could, possibly use, but I can't wait to see how he produces. Here is my little melon. I'm trying to grow this up on a trellis, and it's actually, now on these last two beds, I have some thyme, I have oregano, and the little marigolds, which are a great protector plant. You can see how the rain really smashed this guy down. If he makes it, yay. If not, I'll pull him up so that this other, squash can have more room. Standard squash here. And on this side, I've got beets, which really I should harvest probably today. Broccoli, which won't produce because it's late in the season, but the chickens love the leaves, so I'm letting these grow. This giant over here is the horseradish that I keep lying and saying I'm going to dig up, put in a pot, and he is just taking over this bed. So if I really want to have any space at all soon, I'm going to have to get off my duff and actually do something about him. So now let's head over to the other side. Is the new side. Last time you saw it, none of the beds had anything. Not really. So come on in. We will start over on bed 1. As you can see, lots more squash. These are monsters. My sweetie is rather dismayed about this because he has been eating squash, way too much. So he's kind of sick about that. but the chickens love it, so I'm keeping it around because it's great to supplement the little chicken's diet with this. Another tomato side. This side is mostly heirloom cherry tomatoes. Now I have a ton of tomatoes this year for 2 reasons. 1, I love tomatoes. 2, I like to try different varieties to find out which are the winners, which have the better flavor, the better production. Then I'll know what I can get the next year. Like this is Rosella. These make some really pretty little grape-like clusters, and they're a red cherry variety that grow, like in a little arch with little cherries on there. This side is Reisentraub, which is another red cherry variety that has clusters on there. Now they're kind of behind the first one. They've got blossoms, but no real tomatoes on them. On the next bed, well, besides of course more squash, my husband loves me for that. We'll go over to bed 3 here. This has the same variety of melon that I had on the side. Now on the other side, I'm growing them up. This, I'm letting it spread mostly along the ground. I want to see which one actually produces better, or if I have any problem with the melons. But he's quite healthy and happy, and he's just going to take over that far side of the bed. This side, a couple of tomato volunteers that I couldn't bear to to get rid of. And over here, we've got a winter squash, which I believe really is another fancy name for just pumpkin. He's going to have this whole side of this bed all to himself, and actually he can even grow under the tomatoes without any problem. So I can't wait to see what happens to him, because really I love pumpkin, and this is supposed to be a tender, heirloom variety as well. Now this bed 5, is the chicken bed. We've got them all blocked off right now, as you can see by the little fencing and stuff. And I've got wheatgrass, kale, and flaxseed all growing in here. So when it grows up, we'll let the chickens have the bed, and they'll probably destroy it in probably in a day, but at least that was the idea. Now we're going to come through here on this side, and what do you think of our makeshift gate here? Keep the little hungry birds out. See if I can get that there. Come through here. We've got the chicken coop, which needs cleaning, so don't look at that really closely. On this side, we've got a dwarf cherry that seems to be quite happy. Last year it got chewed up by deer quite a bit, but this year, now that we've got it fenced off, it's doing quite well. This is our blueberry bed. We've only got 3 blueberry plants, and it really needs weeding, so don't look at that. But the blueberries are growing quite well. They've already produced blueberries, and now they're just trying to grow. Here, our blackberry bed that we basically sacrificed to the chickens, because really nothing can really hurt this. I mean, look at these. Nothing's going to really chew something with that. They grab a few of the lower berries, but that's fine with me. Coming through here, you can see a little dish right here of oyster shell. That's for the chickens because they're getting very close to being able to lay eggs, and that actually they'll nibble on that whenever they feel the need for some calcium, and that helps make for strong shells. And over here, last but not least, are my Concord grapes. This side has seeded grapes, which means they have seeds. And as you can see, look at this. it's its second year of growing, first year of producing, and I don't know that we're expecting a lot from him, but right now they look quite wonderful. This side over here are the seedless grapes. Now their size, let's see if I can find a nice one. The size of the grape is much smaller than the seeded varieties, but they're both Concords, and we'll see how they do. But other than that, that's about it. So if you like this video, like, share, and subscribe. See, I remembered how to do this time. And we'll see you next time.